Sure, you've read many stories about many different magazine heroes, but there's never been a story like this one because there's never been a hero like Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man, Volume 1, Number 1. Amazing Spider-Man number 1 was the first issue of Spider-Man series after his debut in Amazing Fantasy 15. As the writer got fan letters asking for more stories with Spider-Man as well as good sales for the issue, Spider-Man was made into a separate comic series. With the Peter Parker's household desperate for money following the death of Ben Parker, Peter Parker decides to continue in show business as Spider-Man. However, not only does he find it impossible to cash his paycheck made out to Spider-Man, but the irrational editorials by Jonah Jameson in the Daily Bugle effectively destroyed his career. Besides denouncing Spider-Man as publicity-seeking phony, Jonathan Jameson also publishes articles lauding his son, John Jameson, a courageous astronaut about to be launched into orbit into a space capsule. Jonah Jameson called his son a real hero. On the day of the launch, Peter Parker is at the launch site as an observer. The rocket takes off successfully, but as guidance system error causes it to go wildly off course and re-enter the atmosphere. Spider-Man appears at the launch site and offers to replace the defective 24-3B guidance unit by plugging in capsule with a spare. Because there is no way for the military to get to the capsule in time, they allow Spider-Man to try. Spider-Man commanders an aircraft and a pilot, and together they fly toward the space capsule re-entry point. Although the capsule is falling fast, Spider-Man manages to get a hold of it with his webbing and climbs aboard. He quickly replaces the faulty guidance unit. As a result, John Jameson regains control of the capsule, gets it properly oriented, and opens up its parachute. To the joy of all concerned, the astronaut is saved. Thinking that Spider-Man has at last proved himself, Peter Parker is shocked when he reads Jonah Jameson's editorial in the next edition of the Daily Bugle. Spider-Man is accused of deliberately sabotaging the space capsule and staging the rescue as a publicity stunt. With public opinion turning against Spider-Man with each new editorial in the Daily Bugle, Peter Parker's position is hopeless as ever. Spider-Man versus the Chameleon. Still looking for a way to use his powers to make money, Spider-Man decides to try and join the Fantastic Four. He enters the Baxter building, escapes a plexiglass cage trap, and battles the four heroes. After explaining his intentions, he learns that the Fantastic Four are non-profit organization and earn no salaries. He leaves disappointed, vowing to make the group look like pikers. Meanwhile, the Chameleon is using his multi-pocketed disguise vest to infiltrate a defensive installation in the Lark building at the edge of New York City. Later that night, while mulling over the defense plans he has stolen, he hears about Spider-Man's visit to the Fantastic Four headquarters. He deduces that Spider-Man has no legitimate way to earn a living and must be short of money. He once more infiltrates the defensive installation and disguises Spider-Man, steals the remainder of the missile defensive plan. Spider-Man, who had been contacted with a phony job offer by the Chameleon on a special frequency that only his spider sense can pick up, arrives at the defense installation just after Chameleon's departure. The security guards try to capture him, thinking he has stolen the plans. Evading capture, Spider-Man uses his elastic webbing to sling himself over the harbor, then spins a web parachute to land safely. He grabs a boat and follows the Chameleon's helicopter to a waiting Soviet submarine. He quickly gains control of the helicopter, and he and the Chameleon return to the Lark building. The Chameleon disguises himself as one of the security guards to avoid arrest, but after a brief battle, he is captured. Unfortunately, during the battle, the guards believe that Spider-Man is the Chameleon in disguise, forcing Spider-Man to flee. He departs ruefully of the way things never seem to turn out right. Notes: Peter is incorrectly named Peter Palmer 3 times in this issue. In the second story of this issue, Spider-Man vs. Chameleon, 2 occurrences being on the same page and fewer than 5 panels apart, page 2 of the story, and once again on page 6. At the end of the specialty of Spider-Man's web is given and how it is very much strong, flexible, and can decompose. The Chameleon will not be seen again until Amazing Spider-Man 15. This issue marks the first time Spider-Man ran out of web fluid. This issue marks the first time Spider-Man is called a menace by the Daily Bugle. This issue marks the first time Spider-Man uses his webs to create an object such as a parachute. Jonah Jameson's first appearance. John Jameson's first appearance. Chameleon first appearance. Professor Newton first appearance. March 1963. Writer Stan Lee. Penciler Steve Ditko. Inker Steve Ditko. And colorist Stan Goldberg. Next issue, Amazing Spider-Man, Volume 1, Issue number 2.